Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're located today. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Eliot Harper, and I'm a Senior Marketing Technology Architect at CloudKettle. I've been working with Salesforce Marketing Cloud for almost a decade now. I've written books on Marketing Cloud, and I'm very active in the user community, and I'm really excited to be presenting the second of a 4-part series on mastering Einstein for Salesforce Marketing Cloud to you today. In our first session last week, I covered Einstein engagement scoring, Einstein engagement frequency, Einstein send time optimization, and the Einstein split activity for Journey Builder. If you missed that session, a recording is available on our YouTube channel. Head over to youtube.com, search for CloudKettle, and while you're there, why don't you go and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date on other great Salesforce content. Now, before we begin, I want to explain this is a live webinar and I'm really keen to answer your questions. But to help the session flow, I won't be pausing to accept questions during my presentation. Instead, you can post your questions to the Q&A panel, which you'll find in the Q&A tray icon in your Zoom application. And my colleague, John McGinley, who's a partner at CloudKettle, will review them during the session, and we'll have plenty of time for me to answer your questions at the end of the session. Well, let's begin. In this session, I'll be introducing Einstein Messaging Insights and Einstein Copy Insights for Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Additionally, as a special bonus topic, I'll also cover Einstein Content Tagging and explain how you can use this feature to automate image tagging of your content library. For each of these topics, I'll explain what these features are, why you should use them, and how they actually work. And finally, I'll provide an insight into upcoming product enhancements that we can expect to see in future releases. Firstly, how can you access Einstein in Marketing Cloud? Well, I explained this in my first webinar, but to recap, Einstein features are available from both the Einstein menu and from Einstein Overview, which appears on the Einstein menu in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. This provides a dashboard indicating overview metrics for each enabled Einstein feature, and also indicates which features haven't yet been enabled. Moving your cursor over each metric reveals related summary data. And you can conveniently navigate to Einstein features right from the Einstein Overview menu. Let's now take a look at Einstein Messaging Insights in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Einstein Messaging Insights is included in Professional, Corporate, and Enterprise Marketing Cloud editions. Now, this feature provides anomaly detection for email marketers through a notification center, where marketers can review irregularities in KPIs. So, if there's a sudden drop or gain in email engagement, for example, opens, clicks, or unsubscribe rates, then Einstein Messaging Insights will surface these insights on their Marketing Cloud dashboard. Insights are updated daily, so these automated alerts aren't reliant on a marketer reviewing email tracking data or scheduled reports. Let's discuss one possible scenario for Einstein Messaging Insights. Perhaps an abandoned cart journey has been running for some time, but a recent release of dark mode for iOS has impacted click-through rates from these devices, as the design is not working as well in iOS dark mode. In this scenario, Einstein Messaging Insights would send a notification directly to the notification center for that 24-hour period, alerting the marketer that there's been a sudden drop in click activity, so they can identify the cause, intervene, and apply the updates to the email to ensure that the performance stays level or increases. In summary, Einstein Messaging Insights enables marketers to stay on top of email performance changes and use provided insights to optimize journeys and batch sends. Let's now take a closer look at how this feature works. Firstly, Einstein analyzes the past 90 days of subscribers' email engagement data, including batch sends, journey sends, automations, opens, clicks, and unsubscribes, which are all analyzed at a business unit level. Batch sends are compared against similar batch fulfillments, For example, a batch send of approximately 1 million records is compared with other batches of similar send volumes. There are other criteria for determining similarities, but the main one is size. Also, single send journeys are treated as a batch send. Journey sends and automations are compared against past fulfillments of the same activity. That is, performance for a given day of emails sent from a journey is compared with a rolling average for the same activity over at least 14 days. It's worth noting that automations are only evaluated like journeys if they have a constant, regular pattern. Specifically, if the automation has been triggered 4 or more times in the past 7 days. Automations with greater scheduled frequencies and intermittent automations, for example, file drop automations, will be analysed as batch sends. Now, let me briefly explain the data science behind how Einstein detects these insights. Anomalies are detected when the observed values are 2 standard deviations away from the expected values. This is the same for open, click and unsubscribe related insight types. For batch email sends, Einstein uses logistic regression to determine the anomalies. Logistic regression is a statistical method used to model the probability of the existence of a certain class or event. Now, in statistics, R² is a statistical measure of how well the regression predictions approximate the real data points in a regression model. And Einstein uses an R² measure to represent the proportion of the variance for the insights that's caused by the independent variables, which are the underlying factors. Up to 5 potential causes of anomaly are surfaced in Einstein Messaging Insights. Now, causalities are not determined in the case of multi-step journeys and automations. They're only determined for batch sends. And that's because for batch sends, Einstein runs regression analysis on a daily basis to build association for the variables. But journeys are evaluated differently, as they're based on a statistical analysis against a rolling average. Insights are reported anomalies on a given day. For example, Einstein Messaging Insights may return notifications such as a high click rate for post-purchase automation, or a low open rate for a welcome journey. Up to 5 potential causes of anomaly are surfaced in the interface. In addition, Einstein Messaging Insights provides insights on individual email activities and journeys, where you can identify which specific email or emails the anomaly occurred in for a given day. The severity of batch anomalies, along with their respective causes, are measured within upper and lower bounds. And, as I mentioned earlier, detection and predictions occur on a daily basis. To get started with Einstein Messaging Insights, simply activate it from Marketing Cloud Setup. Now, let's take a look at Einstein Messaging Insights in action. Right from the Marketing Cloud dashboard, you can see the Einstein Messaging Insights icon, along with any unread notifications. Alternatively, you can access Einstein Messaging Insights from the Einstein menu. On this notification center, we can see all recent insights so you can both be actively and passively aware of any changes. Here, we can see at a glance the anomalies that Einstein has detected. Let's now take a look at a closer one. I think we'll open this unsubscribe rate anomaly for email activities in a journey to find out what could be causing this. This histogram provides a trend over time and indicates how a journey is performing. Additionally, we see all the email activities in the journey and the related performance to each other, along with the median for the journey. And this table below displays summary data related to each email activity in the journey. The unsubscribe rate indicates the number of unsubscribes divided by the number of delivered messages on the day before this anomaly was detected. The change column indicates the percentage of change in the email's unsubscribe rate compared to the day before this anomaly was detected. And the influence strength reflects the predicted impact on the journey, which is determined by factors like send volume and the percentage of change percentage. We can further filter email activity to compare a trend across emails to identify patterns that are causing the anomaly. For example, let's click on this one and disable this one here. Let's now take a look at another insight. Let's find a good one here. Maybe we're going to look for the, there's a low click rate. Let's see what we've got here. Here we can compare the actual click rate for each day, and anomalies are detected when the value falls outside of the calculated upper and lower bounds we see indicated here. And from this left panel here, we can also filter by messaging channel and engagement metrics. Now, let's take a look at Einstein Copy Insights. Like Einstein Messaging Insights, Einstein Copy Insights is also included in Professional, Corporate and Enterprise Marketing Cloud editions. Einstein Copy Insights drives email open rates through optimizing subject lines. With Einstein Copy Insights, you can understand the words, phrases and tone that get subscribers to open, and also visually compare the impact of phrases, tone and punctuation on subject line engagement over time. You can then use these insights to create strong subject lines without having to test potential changes. But how does it work? Well, Einstein Copy Insights leverages two components: analytics and emotional tone insights. The emotional tone insights uses the Einstein Intent API as an endpoint, along with the email engagement data and subject lines of all emails sent. Einstein Copy Insights includes 5 widgets that combine natural language processing, or NLP, with analytics, including top subject lines used, language factor insights, which corresponds to analytics, emotional tone insights, top performing phrases, and most popular keywords. The top subject lines used widget establishes a baseline for all the other analytics used by Einstein Copy Insights. From the subject lines, Einstein analyzes which are the top performing phrases and the most popular keywords. Next, the relationship between email engagement and used keywords or phrases are defined based on analyzing past trends. So this isn't machine learning. The Language Factor Insights widget looks for characters in the subject lines and returns a result based on whether their occurrence has a positive or negative impact. And the Emotional Tone Insights widget leverages NLP frameworks but isn't predictive. Instead, AI is leveraged to derive meaning from words used. This means that Einstein tries to convey what the emotional tone of the subject is when the customer reads it. But it's important to note that this is not saying that specific words will elicit corresponding emotions. NLP is also used to automate the categorization of subject lines, which are sorted into 11 different emotional tone insights. Using NLP, Einstein conveys what the emotional tone of the subject is when a customer reads it. Einstein then applies a supervised learning approach that uses an initial training data set with labels. From this, Einstein identifies an appropriate model that classifies similar data points based on the training data. Currently, Einstein Copy Insights uses a general-purpose training data set. However, a future release will include a custom training data set for email subject lines. Let's now take a closer look at Einstein Copy Insights. To get started with Einstein Copy Insights, simply select the application from the Einstein menu in Marketing Cloud. This dashboard helps marketers identify the language that drives engagement. This subject line analytics table we see here measures personalization, punctuation, and tone of subject lines to see what causes customers to open. On this table, we can see the top performing and most frequently used subject lines at a glance, and how they compare against each other. The Language Factor Insights tile measures a negative or positive impact, along with the degree of the effect. Now, when all three circles are filled, this represents the most positive or negative effect, depending on their shade, that is, green or red. Here, we can see that originality, which refers to using unique words in the subject line, and including an exclamation mark, has a strong positive impact. Now, the Emotional Tone Insights tile we see here predicts the emotional response to your subject lines based on a multi-label classification model. In this bubble chart, we can see that by including the words with a tone of love has a strong positive impact. But, right down the bottom here, we can see that subject lines with a tone of anticipation, like perhaps perspective, would result in a negative impact. The top performing phrases tile indicates single words, you can see, or phrases that directly had a positive or negative impact on an open rate. For example, we can see here that free shipping has a positive impact. You can also review most frequently used phrases in this bar chart and their effect in comparison to the average open rate. Marketers can then learn from these insights and optimize their campaigns accordingly. Finally, as promised, I also wanted to cover a bonus topic today, and one of my favorite Einstein features, which is Einstein Content Tagging. Now, image libraries can quickly become disorganized and unwieldy, and manual image tagging is a time-consuming and subjective process, and it can be challenging to locate relevant images from an ocean of assets, which can be often likened to finding a polar bear in a snowstorm. This typically leads to content fatigue, where marketers revert to using the same image regularly. Einstein Content Tagging automates image tagging through using machine learning to enrich your image assets with tags to build a searchable content library. And this increases the efficiency of your content search, so you can easily find the most relevant images for your message. Einstein Content Tagging adds and updates content tags and metadata automatically every 24 hours, in addition to any tags you've added yourself, so you can quickly search, identify, and organize different assets. So, how does it work? Well, Einstein tags all JPEG and PNG image files that are 10 megabytes or less, which have been uploaded to Content Builder's repository. This feature uses Google Vision's image recognition algorithms to automatically tag images and create metadata on the fly. A pre-trained model and the matching training dataset is leveraged and used to analyze the images in Content Builder, identifying the prominent features, and the model then delivers the appropriate tags for the images. The level of certainty can be adjusted to be more or less strict. You can select the confidence level between 0.5, which is the lowest, and 1.0 being the highest, to use for automatic tags. Using a higher confidence level improves the accuracy of the tags applied to your images. Using a lower confidence level broadens the scope of tags included. For example, the following image will automatically be tagged with Bridge, Sydney Opera House, Boat, Sky, and Sea. The Einstein tags are created with a predefined prefix value to distinguish against tags that were manually added. You can activate Einstein Content Tagging from Setup by enabling the option Turn on Einstein Content Tagging. You can also choose to automatically use all Content Builder images or just those in Einstein Content Tagging folder, which is automatically created when the feature is enabled. Additionally, you can also set the maximum tags per image, up to 25, and minimum confidence level from this page, along with a tag prefix to apply automatically to automatically tagged images. Now, so far we've discussed the current functionality in Einstein Messaging Insights, Einstein Copy Insights, and Einstein Content Tagging. Now, let's look at additional functionality which we can expect to see in an upcoming release. But before we do, I need to remind you that Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and you need to base your purchasing decisions on products or services that are already available. Firstly, you can expect to see a subject line tester for Email Copy Insights, which is slated for release later this year. So you can assess how your subject line is predicted to perform during campaign development. Next, and I'm asked this question a lot, we can expect to see a future support for dynamic subject lines for Einstein Copy Insights in the first half of next year. To clarify, Einstein Copy Insights currently evaluates static strings and ignores any personalization strings or AMP tags in your subject line. However, this enhancement will enable personalization strings and AMP to be interpreted and evaluated by Einstein. Finally, we can expect to see Einstein Messaging Insights for mobile push available early next year. Well, thank you for attending the session today. I hope you now have a better understanding of what these features do, how they work, and how you can start using them. Now, we have plenty of time for questions, and I see there are already some great questions flowing in on the Q&A panel. At this time, I'm going to go and pass to my colleague, John McGinley, to moderate those questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Perfect. Thank you, Eliot. I thought that was another great session. And you're right, we do have quite a few questions that are coming in. I encourage people, we've got lots of time left. I don't think we'll take the full hour, but we're here if they need us, and let's get right into it if you don't mind.
Of course.
Couple quickies off the top. Does Einstein tagging find words in images?
Right, yeah, that's a fantastic question. So actually there is text detection available in the Google Vision API, but Marketing Cloud doesn't currently use it at this time. So the answer is no, not at the moment.
Perfect. This one came in from Ruben, and I think you addressed it at the end, but just to make sure that we get all of the questions. Does Einstein Copy Insights work if the subject is set using AMP variable?
Yeah, so
sounds like
that's right. So again, not currently. So any AMP syntax tags that follow the percentage that follow the syntax for AMP blocks or inline AMP or even personalization strings are ignored by AMP ignored by Einstein. So the actual variable name, for example, maybe bad score or something, isn't evaluated as a text string. It's just simply ignored. But this is definitely something that Salesforce are aware of. This is a roadmap item, but it's not slated for Marketing Cloud doesn't use it at this time. It will be available next year.
Perfect, thank you. Now, a couple of people asked this question, and predictably so. Copy Insights is Copy Insights available for other languages besides English? Yes,
no, I mentioned this. No, I actually didn't mention this, did I? So only English is supported at this time. Now, this certainly is a roadmap item, but it's not slated for release this year.
Perfect, thank you. Now, a quick question from Deborah, and I think this was covered at the very beginning.
Sure.
But it's available to what versions of Marketing Cloud, and how does one turn it on?
Sure. So it's the features that I discussed are available in all editions except Basic, so you can start using it today. If you don't see that Einstein menu in Salesforce Marketing Cloud, just speak to your account executive. You'll most likely need to just enter into a separate agreement. For any Marketing Cloud customers that have started to use Marketing Cloud in the past 3 years, this should be automatically available. But for older Marketing Cloud customers, you may just need to go and enter into an updated agreement. Also, it's important to note that there are no associated super message charges either with using this feature.
That's actually a great thing to know. Here's one that came out of your example from Katie.
Yes.
In the impact rate, what does the 0.29 imply? Does that imply a 29% increase? Now, that's very specific. I don't know if you remember that part of your demo, but...
I don't know. The impact rate. Look, we got some time. Let me just quickly jump in there and see whether... I can't surface that right now, but let me. I assume that she's talking about Einstein Messaging Insights.
The impact rate, presumably.
The impact rate is available in Einstein Copy Insights, and let me go and have a look at. Yeah, so the impact rate. Yeah, there's definitely an Einstein Copy Insights feature. This way, can you repeat the question again, please?
Sorry, the impact rate, what does the 0.29 imply? And then it was 29% increase question?
Yeah, I have to go and pull up that specific example. I just can't. Oh, here we go. That's the different from the average open rate. So that 0.29 would increase a positive or negative difference from the average open rate. And that's indicated in either green text or red text. Red text obviously indicating a negative value. So yeah, 0.29 it would be a percentage difference. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So this one's a bit of a long one.
Sure.
So I'll do my best to read it here. So this is a particular situation. Due to our contact limit, we have to delete our contacts regularly.
Yes. And
now scheduled the automation to delete a contact 60 days after an email is sent to them.
Right. Okay.
I understand that to be able to use the Einstein feature, we need at least 90 days of historical data. Is there a way we can still use the Einstein features by copying the tracking data somewhere before the contacts are deleted?
Not really. I mean, I'd say that, when using contact deletion that aggressively, I do question that there's going to be all kinds of problems in that you're obviously going to lose all the historical tracking data related to the subscriber. I'm keen to go and explore the specific use case of why you're actually doing that. I kind of understand that typically you'd use the contact deletion process to go and delete maybe these are old customers or for GDPR compliance, or maybe you want to go and identify merged or deleted contacts or leads that have converted to contacts. But that does sound rather aggressive, and I've never heard of anyone doing that before. If that is 60 days after an email sent to go and delete the contacts, I would. I'd actually be certainly looking at. Either I'd say there's a problem with your contact model in that you're trying to. You've got all these duplicate subscribers, and you need to kind of fix their foundations, or you need to go and purchase more contacts. But if you're going and deleting it that aggressively, then it's going to you won't be able to truly leverage the benefits of these Einstein features, because that raw tracking data is anonymized. Specifically, email address is changed to a specific value and the IP address is anonymized, but you can't go and back up or use that anonymized tracking data for at an individual level. So yeah, it's I'd be happy to go and have a further discussion and understand kind of why exactly you're doing that in the first place.
Perfect. No, I think that's a great question or a great answer. This is kind of maybe a step back, and this is more of a general comment, and I'd be interested to see where you go with this. But could you explain copy, the term copy, and how it relates to the Einstein features that we discussed?
Yes, it's a great question. It's a great question.
I mean, perhaps maybe we should have led with that one, but maybe that give you a chance to talk a little bit about copy in the context of subject lines and body copy, etc.
Sure. So, I mean, forward-looking statements aside, I think it's an indication of where Salesforce are going with this feature. I think a more appropriate and somewhat unwieldy name would be Einstein Subject Line Insights rather than Einstein Copy Insights. As today, it just looks at the Einstein, Einstein just looks at the subject line. But in future releases, we may expect to see Einstein evaluate the actual email copy in addition to the subject line to determine things like the emotional tone derived from text in your email copy.
Perfect. All right, and this came in from a couple of folks, so I'm going to do my best to. I'm not going to give credit to any one individual, but I'm going to do my best to kind of take 2 or 3 questions and merge them into one.
Sure.
So insights are based on historical activity, historical campaigns that we've already deployed, and that would limit us to what's been used in the past.
Correct.
What are the options of things that we perhaps have not tried, or do you know if there is any possibilities to use, industry best practices as an example, or is there any way that beyond using our own historical data to reference or inference anything from kind of industry best practices or things that we've not tried?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good point, and it's important to note that yes, Einstein, these Einstein features currently only look at past engagement data from your specific business unit. That is, they don't go and take everyone's Marketing Cloud account and use that data at a aggregate level, and that's really just because really a trust consideration that you can't go and it's not using your competitors' data or kind of other accounts for that matter. The answer is no. I mean, it does go and use industry best practices to determine things like the emotional tone, but the raw engagement data is actually it's just based off your account, not off a not of industry averages. Yeah, it doesn't compare against other Marketing Cloud users at this time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. This next one. Bit of a softball for you.
Sure.
How does Einstein image tracking work for GIF files?
No, it's only JPEG and PNG files.
Perfect. This is less this topic and more in general, I think. But in the notification center, if you read something, is it marked as read for all users or just you?
Yeah, great question. I'd have to go and validate that. My assumption is that it's just for you, but there's an option to mark them all as read. But that's a really great question. I'd have to go and check that, or you can check it yourself, obviously.
Great. This is an interesting one, and like this person's future planning. But is there an issue with turning the Einstein feature on long before you plan to use them? Or before your account has much traffic?
No, I wouldn't say there's any danger in doing so. But however, if maybe you're a new account and you're doing lots of testing and coming up with, you're sending test emails and kind of nonsensical data. I think that that might skew the model a bit. So you'd be wise to only enable it once you're ready to start sending to and using customer data. And that's, incidentally, that's why that feature's only available or activated at a business unit level, as Salesforce recognize that people use business units, such as they might have a specific business unit they're using as a sandbox, for example, and they don't want to go and skew that model. So, I'd just enable it when you go and start sending out regular campaigns to your customers.
Perfect. So this came in from an anonymous attendee.
Okay.
They'd like to know, if we activate Copy Insights feature, will the content developers see any difference in how Content Builder works, or will this be completely transparent?
It's completely transparent. Yeah, there's no. Again, as its name implies, it just really provides an insight to the marketers. It doesn't change the functionality, and gives marketers then the ability to go and identify a root cause. But yes, it just surfaces those insights, and it's really up to you to go and apply them.
This one just came in. Is it possible to get a notification of the anomaly from Einstein Messaging Insights to a particular email address?
No, it isn't sent to an email address. I mean, Einstein Insights just today surfaced on within that notification center or from the application. So, as a marketer, you need to go in regularly and just go and check them. But at this time, there's no automated reporting that you can use to go and send. It's a great idea, though, and also I really encourage you to head over to Ideas Exchange, and there's actually a section for Einstein features in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And I know, and I've spoken to them directly, the product managers look at this regularly and are really keen to get feature requests and suggestions like that. So yeah, I'd encourage you to add it to Ideas Exchange.
Excellent. This one came in just now and wants to know, does Einstein take text sends into consideration?
Yes, it would. So again, so yes, it would. It would to a point. I mean, so certainly for messaging insights, it would, but text only sends. So I mean, today I'm not aware of people who just go and send text-only emails. Generally, you would have the HTML part and a text part, and the text is displayed on devices that don't support HTML, like an Apple Watch, for example. But obviously, the issue with text-only sends is that it doesn't include that tracking pixel, so you can't track email opens, but you can still go and track click engagement and unsubscribe rates. So yes, I guess if you're doing a text-only send with the exception of email opens, then the engagement data would still be relevant.
This one this is an interesting one. Does Einstein take text sends into consideration when factoring your results?
Yeah,
to remove test results.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I'm really not sure. I'd be happy to go and reach out and get that question answered for you. If you could just maybe we can grab your name and we can.
I will make a mark there. Yeah.
Fantastic. I assume it isn't, but yeah, I would definitely like to go and follow up on that.
Perfect. So we've got one more here that's actually referencing the previous episode.
Right.
If you have time to take
Sure,
this.
of course.
This is regarding Einstein frequency engagement.
Engagement frequency. Yeah.
Do we need to manually update the oversaturated and undersaturated data extensions over time, or are they updated automatically?
They're updated automatically every 24 hours. However, if you go and adjust the criteria, maybe it's the look-back period from 30 to 60 days or whatever, then you need to go and make sure you click on the Update a Data Extension, Update Data Extensions button that's in the top right-hand corner. And when you do so, the next time that automation runs, it will overwrite the existing record. So again, providing that you haven't touched that automation, you shouldn't, that interfere with it, it will automatically be updated. But yeah, again, if you go and change those, make sure that you go and click that button so that your that look-back period and any other changes are reflected in those data extensions.
Perfect. Well, that reaches the end of our questions here from the audience.
Great.
We've went about 45 minutes now. Again, I think if there's anything else, do you want to give folks maybe sort of a bit of a heads up on what's coming next?
Yeah, that's great, John. Thanks. Yeah, so in our next session next week, I'll be talking about Einstein Content Selection, and I encourage you to go and register for that event. And we'll be sending an email with a link if you haven't yet registered, along with a link to a copy of today's session recording, which will be available also in the next 48 hours on our YouTube channel. So once again, a shout out to head over to youtube.com, search for Cloud Kettle, and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date on other great Salesforce content.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Just responding to someone here.
Sure. No worries.
And Sally, you're asking if we'd be able to get a link to the first session. If you had registered for the session, you should have gotten a link. If not, you can go to the YouTube channel that Eliot mentioned, and it is available there.
Right.
But if you are registered for this event, we usually send out, and I typically get this question asked a lot, the recap or the recording of this email, usually 48 to 72 hours after the end of the session. That gives us enough time to clean it up,
Yep.
get it out to you all, make sure that it's in its best version. So that's it for now. Unless there's any other questions from the audience, we'll probably put a wrap on this one. I'm looking forward to the next session.
Great. And thanks to everyone for attending. We had a great turnout, and I hope to see you at our next session next week. Okay. Enjoy.
Perfect.
Bye.
Thank you, Eliot.